Good day, everyone. My name is Ashima Makudi. So, after my partner defined learners with difficulty hearing and showed how to identify a person with this kind of impairment, I will be discussing the learning characteristics as well as its general educational adaptations. So, for the learning characteristics of learner with difficulty hearing, since much of learning is acquired through hearing, students with hearing problems have deficiencies in language and their experiences. And since we know that these people are having hard time to understand and hear oral activities, they're expected to miss out daily conversations. They may miss crucial or important information that non-hearing impaired or more likely normal people incidentally. Moreover, learners with hearing problem use various methods or strategies to communicate. The basic one is using hearing aids together with lip reading. And these students are referred to as oral since they can communicate through speech but not with the use of sign language. They may also have delayed communication skills because the students' development of vocabulary is slower. And because of their situation, they only understand information or concepts with simple structure of sentence, and they may find it difficult to understand complex instruction. And some of them are conscious about their situation, which they find interacting with people challenging. That is why they prefer to work on their own na lang. Also, some of them just use note takers in class for it is difficult to lip read or to read what is being said and take notes simultaneously. At kasi hindi lahat ng nakakasalamuhan nila ay marunong mag-sign language as well as mag-lip reading, so they come up with an alternative to communicate such as using notes or writing notes. So moving on to the last subtopic, which is the general educational adaptations. There is an assumption that the only adjustment for hearing impaired students is to make all instructional materials and techniques in written format. These are other ways to adapt to hearing impaired students. To make it simple, these following are things to consider by the teachers in dealing with hearing impaired students. We have number 1, teachers should help students with difficulty hearing to use the residual hearing they may have. Number 2, teachers should help students develop the ability for speech reading or watching others' lips, mouth, and expressions. It is important to encourage children with this kind of method to make it less hard for them to communicate with one another. And number 3, teachers should be mindful to face the class at all times when presenting information while ensuring that the students with difficulty hearing sit near them. Of course, teachers must always consider the situation of every student, especially those who have disability and or impairments. Number 4, we have exaggerating the pronunciation of words should not be done, for it just makes it difficult for the students with difficulty hearing. Also, yung paggamit ng complex sentence ay hindi pwede, as I mentioned a while ago. Directions as well as important parts of the lesson should always be written on the board. Of course, importante talaga ang written work sa mga may hearing impaired students. Kaya naman, dapat parating nakasulat sa blackboard or whiteboard ang mga instructions and lessons. And it could also be through books. Pwede din yun. And written or pictorial directions instead of verbal directions may be given. And steps to one activity may be physically acted out instead of verbally given. This simply means that acting out the instruction is encouraged rather than verbal or more likely saying the instruction. An example of this is a sign language, using a sign language to deliver a instruction or lesson. Kasi nga, diba, you are dealing with hearing impaired students. And a variety of multisensory activities should be given to allow the students to focus on their learning strengths. And lastly, teachers should be more patient when waiting to hear a response from a hearing impaired student, which may take longer than usual. And yes, Ang pagiging pasensyoso ng tao or teacher ay napaka-importante sa sitwasyon na ito kasi you're not dealing with normal students and nahihirapan din ang student na maintindihan yung lesson, kaya naman you really have to bear with them and have to be patient. That is all for today's video and thank you.